Hello. First off, I don't have an intro for for this video, so I thought I would hop on here and say, well, initially just to say thank you. Thank you so much for all the support, for all the comments, for all the sharing of your own very personal stories to help me, a stranger, feel better. It's so incredible to see, and I'm so just like blown away by the amount of people who have commented and seen it, like the video, and subscribed and stuff. I just like appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Truly, it's incredible, and I hope that you follow along the rest of this, like when I, continue on to do the rest of the things that I'm really excited to do, like all the traveling and, the process of like selling my house and getting a van and all the things that I initially wanted to get these story times like out of the way for, because I was thinking like down the line when I'm doing travel content that people could look back to see where I started, and I had no idea that it would just immediately kind of like take off and get, a lot of attention just like right off the bat. It's so mind-blowing to me. I don't know, I'm just very grateful, and I'm very thankful to have so many supportive people reaching out, and all the things I just said, I'm just repeating it again. I'm just like, I want you to know truly how happy I am for it. It's amazing. And then also a few other things were just to say, for this video, I know a lot of people said I watched it on normal speed and I watched the whole thing. That's great. I could never, I could never do that. So I truly am impressed, but feel free again to speed it up. It is even longer than the last one, because this is the second part of this story is like me telling you everything from like my conversation with I don't want to say the other woman like that, I'm just not gonna say her name. So like literally the other woman, who was in this, and like kind of like retelling her side of things and sharing more of like information and text and stuff of kind of, and like their dates and their, like more of the actual details of their kind of like relationship over this time. So it's just a lot more information. So that's why it's longer. And then the last thing, which isn't probably something that people notice, but this one is more edited. And that's just because my heater is just hella loud. So sometimes I would just pause for a really long time to wait for it to like shut off. And so I would just take those pauses out. And then sometimes I just paused for a really long time just because I was tired. So I took those pauses out. And then a lot of the time, my dog Loki, who's currently laid out on me, but he would start like snoring really loud or scratching, and his collar would like be like, or he'd get up and try to hump this pillow over here, so I would have to like yell at him to stop, things like that. So there's like cuts of those moments, so like you'll see his little body shift around from behind me. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I don't want you to think I'm like editing out important parts or kind of like chopping and pasting together things that don't. This is like, the story itself is fine. That's all I'm trying to say with that. I'm not like taking pieces out and putting them somewhere else. I don't know if people would even think like that, but I just want you to know this is authentic. It's the way I tell it is the way I edited just pieces out of it, for like everyone's, viewing pleasure, because it was like really loud or boring. So that's it. And thank you. I just don't know ever how to start these. I just did this whole I just edited that whole vlog too, and I can't even remember exactly where I stopped. I think, okay. So I stopped where he left. So if we're thinking of this as Sunday night, he's telling me all this. He is saying, I just want to talk about it in therapy with a third person, in a safe space, with a safe party, as if I was being like violent or unreasonable or whatever. So for me, I was like, okay, that's fine. I was like, if you can schedule something pretty much immediately, then yeah, we can do that. So, the next day on his version, his like what he thinks. Okay, how do I say this? So basically he schedules something. He talks to someone on Monday and he gets an appointment for us for Tuesday. During this time, he's thinking that all I know, first off, that I just like sat around for 24 hours and just was like, you know, like waiting for this appointment. I would never. Who would? But he's like, in his head, all I know is what he's told me, which is very minimal. It's just that he's had Tinder this whole time and that he met her once for an innocent lunch date, which also happened to be a time where they made out and she gave him a blowjob. So, you know, innocent, as I like to say. Oh God, this is a lot. Okay, so that's it. That's his mind. So in the meantime, he leaves. So now we're back to Sunday night, right? He's gone. And I'm sitting at this table staring at this computer and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Who is this man? Who is this person? I don't know him. What is he talking about? Just alone, the Tinder part honestly took me out because I cannot explain how much I trusted and loved and like valued our relationship and how much I felt that in return. This isn't something that like I was seeking validation from a lot. This isn't something where I ever felt like I had to go out of my way. He was around me all the time. All my friends, anyone who knows us would tell you that like they thought we were obsessed with each other. Genuinely. Like so that's why like this was really hard for me to comprehend because it's like I didn't doubt that he loved me so much, like more than anything. But at the same time, I also knew he was telling the truth about this shit. So I just really didn't get it. And I was like, there has to be some kind of like mental component to this. Like he's a little bit, you know, something's up, right? Like this is like to me at the time, I was like, this is like you're too, like I didn't understand the full amount of how different his two separate people type lives were. But it kind of felt like that already. So I'm thinking, who is this person? Especially because the text that she sent said something like, I guess he hadn't told you about us completely. Or I guess he wasn't being honest with me when he said he told you completely about us. I think that's like the closest paraphrase I can get without names and stuff. And so for me, I was like, who is this person? Why, you know, so I'm thinking he's just cheating, just straight up cheating. And like she, like, cause she obviously knows if she's saying like, you know, it's more so like, oh, he was telling her stuff, but he didn't tell her like how serious we were or something, you know, I was thinking along those lines. I'm just like fully in shock. I'm texting this person back. I'm like, who is this? Do I know you? How'd you get my number? Not like separately. I'm just like, these are the things I'm saying, right? I'm trying to process like what I can in the moment. And I call my friend and I'm telling her about this and she's like, you know, she lives here, but she lives like over an hour away. And so I'm calling her and I'm like, is it possible? I know it's late. Can I like, you know, talk to you for a second? This just happened to me. I don't know what to do. And she's known me for years. And she's also known him since like I moved into this house with her. And she met him pretty soon after I did, because at the time she and I were living together. So basically she's seen our entire relationship. She's seen how much I've changed, how much like emotionally he's helped me grow, things like that. So she didn't see any of this coming too, is a point of that, right? Like she is also in the boat of like, what the fuck? Like how is this the same person type thing when I'm telling her all this. And she's like, you gotta reach back out to that girl, like you gotta see what's up. And I was like, I know, I texted her like a few times, but she's not answering, so I don't know, you know. I was like, I just need to go. At this point I had only said like, who is this, how'd you get my number, as like a first text. And then like after he said more, I think all I said was like, I can actually just read it. So I said, who is this? And that was it. And then like an hour later after he's like saying, because I said that when this message popped up, right? And then like an hour later after he leaves, I said, he told me some of it, but I think he's still lying. Would love some clarification if that would be okay. And also, I'm sorry if he emotionally hurt you by saying he was single. I think this was shitty for both of us. It's not one-sided. Because he had said that he was saying that he said he was single. He was saying a bunch of stuff. I didn't know what to believe at the time, but I was like, if he did say that, that's really, like, fucked up. Because his whole point when he was sitting here trying to, like, be like, oh, it's not what I thought it was, it's whatever, like, she's the one who, like, pushed the emotional side, and she's the one who did this, and I told her, it wasn't so much that he was saying he was single like that, it was saying that, like, she always knew from the beginning that I didn't want a relationship, that I wanted to be single, that I wanted all this stuff. So, like, that's kind of what I was getting at there of, like, I'm trying to, like, this is hard for me because I know both sides of it. So I'm really trying hard to say which side is, like, what I got from where, but I'm pretty sure that was it, though. So then I go to the track by my house. I'm running. I'm scaring those homeless people. And after I'm done, I was like, man, I still am, like, I can't, this feeling is, like, too much. So I like, check my phone. She hasn't texted. So I say, I'm not sure if you wanted to just tell me to make him upset, but we've been together for over 4 years, and we were planning on getting married before this October, so it's kind of a lot to just say that and then never reply back. Sorry, I know it's probably hard for you too, but I really need some answers. And he said he deleted everything between you two already. Please, I'm just really heartbroken and sick over this, and you can have him if that's what you want. I just need to know the truth. And then I put, also, do I know you? Like, or how did you get my number? Would love to just talk. I'm so confused about all of this. So I'm leaving the park, I'm driving away, and then I get another text from a different number. We talked a lot. Basically, it just says, I'm not sure if you're still awake, but I'm texting you using my number because that app delayed everything you sent. So then I basically am like, oh yeah, would love to talk. She starts texting and it starts, like, the little bubbles, and I was like, you know what, if you're okay with it, we can just, like, call. Like, I was like, if you're okay with it, can we just talk on the phone? Because I, like, don't, like, my brain already is, on one. I don't need to be texting this whole time. So she's like, yeah, that's fine. So she calls, and we talked for over 4 hours. So she says, I matched with him on Tinder, like, over, like, a year ago or something. So this was, she's like, this was the second time I matched with him. Originally, they matched, they talked a little bit, but she ended up deleting her account because she was, like, with somebody who or she had just broken up with somebody, and that guy started, like, being crazy towards her, like, I forget if it was, like, a stalker type thing or whatever, but basically he was, like, that person was scaring her, so she deleted her accounts and had to deal with, like, that whole situation for a while, and kind of, like, just vanished from the site, and she wasn't talking to him in between this time. So she's like, when I got back on, and whenever she was like, we matched in October. And she was like, I remember, she had the dates of everything. She had the days and stuff too, but she was like, I know it was October, I can check in a second, but I know it was that time because he was going to a Halloween party, and he was just really embarrassed because he didn't want to send me, like, pictures of his costume or something because he was embarrassed of it. And I was like, this motherfucker, because that was October 26th, which was the literal day of our 4-year anniversary. Not, like, the time frame, that was our 4-year anniversary. And we had just also come back from a trip from Tahoe where we were there for a week. We had just done all these, like, awesome hikes and done all this, like, shared all this, like, fun bonding time, whatever. That's not important. But to me, that was even worse because I was like, the day that he was starting to talk with her again, on our anniversary, we were at my best friend's house, and he's there with me talking to, like, her parents that we've gone on like, family vacations with, and, like, gone to Hawaii with and stuff, and we're talking about, like, how, excited we are to get married and how we're gonna invite everyone to the honeymoon and stuff, and he's talking about going to Maui, all this shit, right? Like, so that alone is, like, it's just too much, because it's like there's a difference, because for him he's like, oh, I don't remember any of this stuff. I'm fast forwarding here for a snippet just to be like, you know, telling me that he doesn't remember any of this stuff, and I'm like, I know you're fucking lying. There's no way you couldn't have been thinking about me in these moments, because we had a whole ass day. It was our anniversary. We talked about a bunch of shit. Like, there's just no way. So regardless, so she's telling me all this stuff, and she's like, yeah, we start talking in October. She was like, I'm gonna let you know right now, I never knew that he wasn't single. He told me that he presented himself as a single man who hadn't been with anybody. She said his profile said something like, just here, like not for anything serious, and like wants to make friends or something stupid. And she said that he didn't believe in relationships, that he didn't believe like in monogamy, and that he wasn't looking for a relationship, and that he hadn't dated anyone in over 5 years. And also that he hadn't dated anyone in over 5 years because his last girlfriend was like so emotionally abusive, I think is what she said, like something to that effect, so that he didn't want to be with people. And so they started bonding over that, because she's like, oh, you know, let alone like what either of their intentions were at the beginning, like that doesn't really matter, but like the emotional side of it, like they started bonding kind of like over communicating, like they start talking, because they're talking about like, oh, their past, their exes, things like that, right? So automatically I'm like, okay, this is more than just nudes. And so I asked her, I was like, okay, well, his version of this is like, he swipes, and then he basically was just like, hey, I'll give you like $50 for, or I mean, he didn't say money. He was just like, he paid you for like pictures, and then you met up once. And she was like, no. We started talking, and at first it was just normal talking, like you would talk if you just met somebody. And then we switched to like texting or whatever. And then we were like talking about things we liked, things whatever, the emotional, the fun part of learning about each other. And eventually he started like putting more, I think he started like using gifts or something, I don't know, something fucking lame. And like he started getting more like sexual with like what he was like little innuendos or whatever, and started like pushing that. And so she sent him, I think at one point after that, she like ended up, or like he sent a dick pic, or she sent, you know, something, whatever it is, like one of them like eventually like progressed to sending a picture. And then that kind of like made it so that he would just start asking and being like, hey, can you send me another one of these? Can you send me another one of this? Whatever. So at this point, this is like a couple weeks of this, I think maybe even a month, honestly, where they're, you know, this is happening at the same time. This is October, right? So it's like Halloween happens, and then November is coming up for Thanksgiving and stuff. And so this is like weeks of her talking to him, being kind of like sus in general. And so for her, she's like, gets to a point where she's like, listen, I don't know what you want from this. I don't, like, it's confusing because, you know, we're, you know, talking like this and we're sending pics and stuff on one side, but on the other side, you're telling me about your life and your like abuse and your trauma and like a bunch of like really personal stuff, might I add, that he hadn't even told me. And she was like, we were able to talk about this and open up about this, and that's like what made me even start feeling more comfortable and confident and like being able to like have this, you know, semi-sexual relationship with him. So eventually she gets to the point where she's like, I don't know what you want from this, like, you know, but if you're just gonna like, if this is all it is and you're just gonna be asking me for, you know, nudes or whatever, she was like, that can be separate, but like, she was like, you know, I'm not just gonna do this, like, I'm not gonna continue this, I'm not gonna continue it for free. Like, if that's all you want from it, you can fucking pay me for like nudes. And honestly, for me, I was like, good for you, get some compensation. So he starts paying her. Let me see. So she sends me like, I mean, she sent me a bunch of stuff. She sent me a lot of fun pictures that he took for her. And so I have dates and stuff for a lot of these, but he starts cash apping her like $200, $300, $60, $50, $100, $60, $160, $100, $50. And that's just from November 19th through December 22nd. So that's like 1 month. And that's just like one screenshot of like, you know, yeah. So he starts sending her money, which also pissed me off. I pay for so much stuff in our relationship. And like we split a lot of it, but a lot of like the trips we've taken, I bought him like vacation. Like when he was deployed, when he came back from his last deployment, he had never been to Universal. I plan all the trips that we take to see his family every year, and I pay for all the hotels, and I always give him like, okay, like this is whatever. And like he doesn't even fucking pay me back half the time. And in my head, like I kind of got over that because I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like we're going to get married. It doesn't really, like, who cares? I'm not going to let, you know, I just like, and it's not like he wouldn't buy me like random things and stuff throughout the week, or I mean not throughout the week, but like throughout the month or whatever, just to like show, you know, he cares or whatever. But as I look back on it now, it's not the same. And like we would go to dinner, and like I would pay for dinner half the time. And even if we went to dinner and he paid for it, it would be more of like we would split it. It's not like he just doesn't pay for shit. He didn't ever pay for like fucking anything for me. I don't know why I never thought about it that way, but I guess because I'm independent and stuff, I really didn't care. And I kind of like, I'm not the person who needs to be taken care of in that sense. I would rather have you spend time with me and show me that you love me in a bunch of different ways. I don't need you, like, I'm not the girl who's going to be like, I want you to buy my nails, and I want you to buy me dinner, and I want you to buy, you know, like, yeah. So anyways, I just paid for a lot of shit. And I do think, by the way, that maybe that had a part in this, like him just never being able to tell me, maybe that made him feel like, I don't know, emasculated or something. But like a crazy way to go about it is to like not say anything and instead spend all your fucking money on some person you barely know, let alone like, oh God, it's stupid. Anyways, okay. And so then it starts like getting more like emotional again. And so she's like, well, I don't even know. Maybe it was him. I don't know who said they wanted to meet. Either way, they meet up. I don't remember if it was their first night or not. I don't know. But so they end up meeting like 7 or 8 times over these like, over like November and December. Because I guess it technically isn't 3 months because it was only like the last 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So it was the last week of October, all of November, all of December, first week of January. So 2.5 months, technically, with this person. Like, who the fuck, who knows? This could be like the 20th person. He's had 4 years to do this. I'm sure he's done it a lot. So he ends up meeting with her. They do everything but sex. And this is just in general. So like, I'm sure they're not just immediately getting into all that, but I don't know. Maybe they do. Who cares? Either way, along these, they're going to dates, right? So they start going on dates. They start going to like, he takes her to Barnes & Noble. He buys her like 2 books. Pisses me off. I used to work at Barnes & Noble when we were dating. Pissed me off. And then he takes her to the Mexican restaurant in our town that he never goes to, that we've never been to together. Because he never wants Mexican food. And he takes her to the pet store, the same pet store we go to. He takes her to the movies, the same fucking AMC Stubs membership that I have to go to the movies, because that's what we do too. And like they go to the pier, they're having like all these like fucking dates. They go to a photo booth. She's sending me pictures of them like in a photo booth. I'm gonna blur, obviously, everything out of this, so you won't be able to tell other than like the general vibe. But like, this is not no matter what the fuck he wants to say, just a sexual relationship, something that doesn't mean anything, something that whatever. Right at this point, and she's sending me all these. So she's sending me like, you know, all these dick pics that he's sending her, and she's sending me this Cash App receipt. She's sending me screenshots of his dog, like her being in his car with his dog. They're at Texas Texas Roadhouse, the one like an hour away from my house. I'm a pescatarian, and he would tell me like, oh, I'm gonna go to Texas Roadhouse with his friend because I'm not out here eating steak, right? So I kind of like, when he would tell me these things too, I was kind of like, that's kind of fucked up, because like I can have salmon and I can have like bread and shit, and I can have like a Caesar salad, you know, like I'm like, there's a lot of shit to eat besides steak. But he was like, just don't even tell me. He would like go out of his way to be like, oh, me and the boy, I just don't want to say any part of his name. It's not that he says like me and the boy, he says like that person's name, but he's like, you know, me and dude are gonna go like hit up what, or like just, or no, he would tell me while they were eating. He would like send snaps of like his steak. I'd be like, oh, like, you know, we're at whatever, like me and him are at, God, I'm like, insane. So just living on a fucking prayer, dude. So I'm looking through these dates. She's sending me all this shit. Let's see, what do we have? We have the Texas Roadhouse. We've got, you know, pets of like the fucking pet shop. We've got, you know, dessert. They're having dessert at a sushi restaurant. That was our first date. And we're having, let's see what else. We're looking at puppies. We're, you know, in some booth in some restaurant. Now we're in Starbucks in the Barnes and Noble. Now we're like, I have so many, I just have like photos of them. And these are like, you know, like selfies, like he's fully like face in these photos, like, you know, smiling for them. Insane. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going through all these things that she's sending me, and I'm checking the dates for it, because I was like, when did this motherfucker have the time? He spent so much time with me that it was hard for me. I was like, if I didn't see his face in half the shit, I would like still be kind of like in disbelief, you know, because it's like I'm trying to like think of when he has the time. But there was one, I took a trip in November. I went to my sister's house, and I was gone for like an entire week. You know, I'm there with my family, and you know, they're making plans to like move out of Texas, move to LA and stuff, and I'm just like, you know, talking to them about it, staying a little bit longer, trying to spend time with them because they're also like working and stuff. Either way, I'm there. I end up staying there for a week, from like a Thursday to Thursday, and during like I'm looking through these photos and stuff, and some of the times that they're like actually meeting and stuff, and you know, spending actual time is during this week where I'm gone. And during that week, I'm pretty sure it was during that week. Let me check before I lie. Well, actually, it was like more than that. I think like once during that week, and then at a different time. Oh shit, no. God. Oh, that's worse. When was Thanksgiving? Oh, I just like feel so sick. Every time I look at this, it gets worse. Thanksgiving was on Thursday. He did this 2 days after. Oh, okay, never mind. So some of their physical dates are happening while I'm gone. I come back. It's Thanksgiving. I spent, first off, we go to the movie. We go see Gladiator 2. And then we come home, and I'm cooking Thanksgiving dinner for like hours. We have like a Thanksgiving meal. And I'm going through like her photos versus my photo booth time, like, because I just take a lot of pictures. And yeah, it would be like the same day. So he would like leave and be like, oh, he was like, that day I remember, because he was like, oh, I feel sick, I feel like I ate too much, I'm gonna go home, blah blah blah. He went to see her. She lives an hour away, by the way. So he's like really burning it on both ends, because he would spend all day with me, like 8+ hours, and then tell me he needed to go home to like get his dog, which understandable. But he was really just like grabbing his dog and then driving another hour, and then spending all night with her. So that's how we made it work. And I didn't, for a while, I was like, what the fuck? So he was just like going to work, I guess fucking tired and doing whatever, because he was spending so much time with both of us. Like, at least good for him. He's like going up, like over what he needs to. Like, what the fuck? You're spending, like, don't spend so much time with me. I love being alone. He was like overcompensating and doing too much. Anyways, I was talking about Thanksgiving because just looking at that, I just realized one of the days, so he starts having her come to his house because she's starting to feel sussy about it. At this point, they've done very intimate things. You know, they've made out, done everything in between except for sex. And like, and I mean that in the like truly like biblical missionary sense, right? In my head, if you tell me the things that they were doing to each other, I'd be like, oh, so you're having sex. Like, y'all are fucking. You're fucking. Anyways, so, woo! So, God, I can't fucking, like, it freezes my brain when I think about his face and her, and him thinking that's not more intimate than just having sex. Like, to me, that blows my mind. Like, that is so much more. You are a part of her. You are still, you know what? It doesn't matter. Anyways, the reason I was saying that is because he starts paying for an Uber, by the way, too. She lives an hour away. These are like $60 Ubers, and this motherfucker didn't ever leave a tip. I saw that just now, and I was like pissed off. The fuck? Like, just a bad person. Just a bad dude. Like, who treats people like this? Like, treat me like this, treat her like this, but this motherfucking driving her ass to you, transporting her to you on a fucking silver pad, delivering this woman to you, to your bed, and you don't even tip them? 2:28 p.m., leaves where she's at, gets to his house 3:22 p.m., no tip added. Where was I? I can't. I need to finish this thought. So she wanted to go to his house because she's like, I feel like something's up. Because at this point it was Halloween, Thanksgiving, and they were talking about like future like holiday plans of just being like, you know, well, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Basically in December, she's doing this too, right? She's going to his house again, and she wants to, because she's like, she was like, I guess, the first time she was like, I guess he's not lying about being single because I own my own house, so my stuff's not there. So the second time she's like, okay, well, you know what? Yeah, I'll come back over. She was like, give me another ride. Comes over and kind of like does a little snooping, looks for stuff, and she's like, wow, I guess he's not lying. He's just like, I guess he's just truly this like, you know, handsome man who's single, who's spending time with family, and that's why he can't spend all these holidays and anything with me, you know? Whatever. So she doesn't find anything of mine. Honestly, I don't even think I have anything. But she says that, you know, they're getting physical. She's spending the night. They're cuddling. They're doing whatever. They're, you know, he's not pushing her for sex, but he is like wanting to. He buys Plan B. He says he can't have sex without a condom. He's like, it's not like he's like what he stood here in my house and told me of like, we didn't have sex, the house to count for something. Bitch, it's because she didn't want to have sex. Like, are you kidding me? This isn't like, the more I talk about it, I just like, the fact this motherfucker thinks I would ever get back together with him is so, like, he's crazy. All right, so he's saying like, oh, I love your body, oh, I love whatever, like, you know, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. And while he's doing this, he tells her he loves her. And she's like, she even told me like, I know he didn't mean it. She was like, that was, first off, it had only been like 2 months. And also he started trying to get her to say it back to him. And she was like, I didn't say it back to him. I knew that this was probably like sexually motivated, that this was something that was like, you know, that he needed. He's doing all this. He's telling her he loves her. He's going on these dates. He's doing whatever. And he's also sitting on my couch, you know, the next month telling me that this was just a fling. Like, this was just the sex. This was just the whatever. It had nothing to do, like, out of your fucking mind. Okay, so I'm trying to think of, like, other stuff she told me. There's, like, more stuff, obviously. Let me, like, scroll through this really quick, because there's more stuff where it's just, like, he would say, he would lie. Okay, so first off, he had a bunch of Christmas parties. He had, like, 2. And he kept postponing things with her because he was like, oh, I can't. First off, he said he had family. Or like he was going to go visit family, and that's why he couldn't spend Thanksgiving or Christmas with her. It wasn't, it's because he was with me. And then he said that he had to, like, had work events or whatever, which he did, but he said he couldn't talk through them, but it was just like his Christmas parties. Going back through these texts, I keep scrolling to their like dick pics, and I wish I would stop doing that. I keep going the wrong way on accident. Yeah, so they're going to these dates. Oh, okay. So she tells me, like, she was like, first off, she texts me back. The first thing she says is like, I'm not sure if you're still awake, blah, blah, blah. Using my number because the app is delayed. I'm like, yeah, I just got done running. I'm not sure how to process this. I'm in shock still, but like, you know, give me a minute. I'll be like home in a second type thing. She says, I'm so sorry. And to answer your last text, no, I didn't tell you everything to make him upset. I didn't think he told you anything, despite him saying that he did, and he set up the therapy appointment. I'm actually surprised he did it. And to me, I'm like, what? What's he talking about? And she's like, I've never been in this position, at least not that I know of. And for someone to put me in this position, making me the side woman without my consent, I feel like I went through the 5 stages of grief. Literally, what the fuck? And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I was like, to be clear, he never set up any appointment. Like, I didn't know what she was talking about. But I was like, he did ask me yesterday if I would go to couples therapy, because he had asked me randomly while, like, the day before he, like, said all this shit, right? This is still Sunday, right? So on Saturday, he had said, he was just sitting on the couch, like, probably on my Ground News app, probably deleting shit. And he was like, hey, he was like, I know you've talked about going to couples therapy or whatever in the past, but if we, you know, like, if we're going to get married and stuff, like, I do want to propose, we're going to be in Tahoe and stuff, like, would you go still? Because I want to learn how to talk to you. I want to learn how to communicate better with you, like, for him, right? Because I can always talk and stuff, but he has trouble getting past shit. And I've known that about him. And I was like, yeah, I would love that, you know? And he was like, I just want to be, like, the best version for our marriage or something. And to me, I was like, that's awesome, you know? Like, who's gonna ever... Whatever. So I'm like, to be clear, he never set up any appointment. I was like, he asked me yesterday if I would go to couples therapy so that he could be the best version for our marriage. And I was like, I feel so fucking stupid. And she's like, I can't. And I was like, also fine with a call if that would be easier than texting, which is when we had our phone call. So then she's sending, like, I have all these photos and stuff because this is like the period where we're talking about stuff. And she's sending me, because I'm trying to get the dates. And, you know, they're going to the restaurant in town. They're doing all this shit. She's at his house. He's going over to hang out with her where she lives. They're having all these sexual experiences together, you know, broadening. So I'm trying not to be sarcastic about it, whatever. He's asking her for sex. She's saying no because she feels, like, weird about it. And in her head, she's like, I'm trying not to have sex with, like, somebody who, like, he makes me feel safe. He makes me feel heard. He's talking to me. He's emotionally bonding with me. We've talked about, like, really horrible shit in her life. Like, I feel really bad for her. And also, like, he's opening up about horrible shit that happened to him. Who the fuck knows if that's even true, right, at this point? But still, like, there's an emotional aspect to it that she's trying to get by. We're talking for these 4 hours. She's telling me all this shit. And in my head, I'm just like, this, like, every single thing he told me is such a lie. And there's so many details where she would be like, oh, the Christmas party, right? That's where I was going with that. He gets drunk. He gets wasted. He, like, leaves the bar. He's sprinting down the road. And I'm, like, trying to run after him because I'm the DD for hours, going to bar, taking them wherever. I'm just, like, so fun. I was like, I want to go home so bad. He gets runs out the bar, sprints down, fucking twists his ankle. I've taken him home. He's, like, throwing up. I'm, like, taking care of him. I'm, like, panicking because I think he's going to fucking, like, throw up in his sleep and die or something. You know, I have anxiety about shit. So I'm, like, doing all this shit for him already, spending the whole, like, night and shit with him, like, for hours. Like, I don't get home till, like, 3 because I'm, like, spending time watching, like, fucking checking his pulse and shit. Bitch. And then he wakes up and, like, for her, she's talking about, she was like, yeah, he had, you know, he wouldn't spend time with me for a few days there in December because he had, I think, she was like, I think that's the time he, like, tripped on his stairs. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, yeah, when he, like fractured his ankle or twisted it or something. And I was like, this, like, everything. I was like, he's lying about shit. He doesn't need to lie. I was like, girl, he was a drunk asshole sprinting down the sidewalk after his Christmas party. That's how he sprained his ankle. He wasn't tripped on the stairs. Also, that's a lame fucking excuse. Like, at least come up with a better excuse than I tripped going up my own fucking stairs. Like, that sucks too. The drunk story's better. Like, I don't understand. And so we're going through all these things, kind of like back and forth of all these things he's telling her versus all the things he's told me. And there's tons of ones like that where it's just like not necessary to lie. And he's, instead of just like telling a very basic lie and just like making me a different, like making me his best friend or something, right? Like replacing that, he's just telling her completely different versions of things that happen, which is crazy. So, now we're at the part where she starts telling me how she was scared to reach out to me again because she was like, I know I sent those messages, but I'm assuming you didn't see them. And she was like, for me, I didn't know if he was telling me the truth or not with you guys going to therapy and working on your stuff. And I was like, I don't know out of all that, any of what you're talking about. And she was like, well, I had sent messages on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, after I found you. And okay, I skipped another part. Let me backtrack for 1 second to set up why that part mattered. So she's feeling suspect because it's now about to be New Year's, which like is a exclusively like couples holiday. And you know, there's no excuse not to be with someone on New Year's, right? So at this point, she's gone through Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and he's like avoiding her every time. And then it's her birthday. This is just like, he's an idiot too for starting this during the holidays, as if this isn't the worst time of the year for people and like they're just gonna be like okay with like so dumb. So anyways, it's her birthday. And she was like, it's my birthday. I asked him to hang out. I was turning, I think 28. I'm 34. He's 33 for context. She was like, I'm turning 28 and I wanted him, like I was hanging with my friends, but I wanted to see if he wanted to hang out after. And he was telling me like he would love to, but he was, you know, he was busy with something else or whatever it was, but he would try to if he could. And I think her birthday was a couple days before New Year's. So she was like, well, if you can't make it for my birthday, we could at least do New Year's. And he's like, oh, well, I'll let you know if I don't have plans, but my coworkers are having a party and I haven't decided if I'm going or not. So at this point, she's just like, I know something's up with this motherfucker. Like, what is going on? There's no way he's single. Like, actually, like, you know, talking to me, but, like, saying that he's single while he's, like, clearly not available for anything. And so she starts looking, and at this point, too, he wouldn't add her on anything. For some of it, he said that he just didn't have certain social media platforms. And then for others, he was like, oh, it's just, like, I only have my coworkers on here, or I never use this. And I'm never on it, whatever it is, right? So she ends up looking at, I think like everything was private. His Instagram was private, his Facebook was private. And even though it like said, I looked after because I was like, well, that's so weird. Because like our relationship status was on Facebook, but like you can't see it. It just was like, he didn't have any of his about info. So it was just his name and then private. And so she ends up finding him on TikTok. And she's like, I'm going through his TikTok friends. And she's like, I'm starting to feel weird. And I'm never on TikTok. I think TikTok is like brain rot times 15,000. So she says that she's like going through. So the point of that was to say like, I'm not going through like, I also like, I can't express how much I don't care about this shit. Like, I'm not jealous. I'm not going through his shit. I'm not going through his followers. So like, I know people are probably going to be like, well, how did you not know that he was like following these, like, you know, because for her, she was like, I started getting weirded out because I'm going through his followers and he's just like, it's just all these like half naked chicks or half whatever. And for me, I'm also like, I don't care because I'm, you know, the people I follow on Instagram, I mean, I guess that's not a good comparison. I don't follow that many, but it's not like I don't follow like hot, like dudes I think are hot on Instagram, right? Like, I don't think that's like, I don't think that matters. Like, I mean, the way he was doing it, I guess, did turn out to really matter. But, you know, in my head, I was thinking, I'm trying to say that the way I thought about it for him was the way I think about it for me. And we are not on the same level. For me, I was just like, oh, you're going to tell me I can't look at, you know, fucking shirtless men on Instagram, like, doing whatever, like, on my For You page or whatever. Like, get out of here. I'm never going to change. Like, everyone should have that beautiful privilege. Like, whatever. Yeah, so he's following all these, so he's following all these people. She's telling me that he's following all these, like, you know, whatever. But the point of that was to say that, like, when she got to my profile, like, because I was someone he followed, she was like, who's this, like, seemingly normal person, right? And so she clicks on mine, and I posted videos of us over the years, but I don't, like, I'm just not on TikTok. There was a time where I posted, like, travel content for a few of the places I went, but they were, like, that was it, and they were sporadic and, like, throughout it. So she's seen videos of us that I posted for vacations and stuff that we have been on within the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, I don't know. Yeah, either way. So it's enough time for her to be like, maybe he is single still, because I'm not posting anything recent, but like, why is he lying to me about being single for the past 5 years, right? So she confronts him, like, she sees this, sees my name. My TikTok profile is linked to, I feel like it was my Instagram, and my Instagram name is the same on Facebook, and my Instagram and my Facebook are connected too. Either way, like, you know, through, like, general social media sleuthing, good old detective work that every I was gonna say woman, but honestly, like, everyone should be able to do. Like, people act so surprised of, like, damn, they were really doing some detective work. I'm like, it takes like 4 minutes. Let's not pretend it's like 1995 and you're like on, you know, dial-up connection. I'm like, why do people act so impressed when people are like, oh yeah, I found him in a minute? Because I'm like, bitch, it's not hard. Like, you were being stupid about stuff, and all our stuff is connected. Like, that's not that much. Like, people always try to make girls sound crazy of like, oh wow, she like found, like, she, like, they were really digging. I'm like, not really. They like clicked on one thing and everything's linked. Like, that's beside the point. That's just something that I have like a pet peeve about. Yeah, so she finds me, sees my shit. My profile picture on Facebook is of us, right? It's us together. So she takes a screenshot of that and she's like, she was like, you're basically like, you're lying to me. Like, what the hell? Who is this? Like, or no, it wasn't even that. I think it was something more of like, no wonder you couldn't like spend any of his time with me type thing. And so for him, he's like, oh fuck. And she sends a screenshot of a Facebook Messenger post from her to me. That was confusing, but I hope that made sense. And so he starts panicking because he's like, fuck. And then, like, this is a time, if I fast forward and tell you about, like, the therapy sessions and shit, this is when he starts saying, like, that was it for him. That was when he realized what he was doing. Before that, he had, like, no, it was kind of like 2 different worlds type thing, and he didn't really understand. He was just, like, he was caught up in the moment, and it was a fantasy and whatever. But this is the moment, the, like, oh shit moment of, like, oh my god, I'm about to lose everything. Like, and that's when he, like, ultimately decided that they would be too much of a loss. Like, I'm too much to lose. Like, let me get my shit together right now in this moment, months after I've been seeing this girl, only because she found out that I have, like, a long-term girlfriend that I was planning on marrying. So he texts her and he's like, please, like, unsend that message. Like, I'll do anything you want. I'll buy you a car. I'll pay for payments. I'll give you all the money I have. I'll do, like, just saying all this shit. He, like, drove to her. He gave her, like, $900 in cash. So on top of all the other money he'd been giving her, by the way, like, come on, dude. Like, so, I mean, like, good for her. But, like, for me, I'm like, what the fuck? You don't pay for shit. I was so mad about this. And, yeah, so he drives to her. He's, like, panicking. She's like, I already sent it. Sorry. Like, I'm not gonna undo it. And also, like, fuck you. And he's like, you don't understand, like, I've already told her about this, or I already told her about us, or no, he says he wants to end it with her, and he was like, I was gonna end it anyways, and I already told her about us, and that's why I'm asking you not to send them, because I don't want this to, like, hurt her even more, because we just started going to couples counseling for marriage, like, for our marriage. We just started going to marriage counseling, and we're actively in it, and I think this would really set her back mentally. And this motherfucker told her that she had to delete it because I was heavily medicated. And I was gonna kill myself. And, like, the fucking rage internally I feel at this statement. First off,
I take Ritalin and I don't remember to take it because I have ADHD. And like, other than that, that is my like medication. And I can't be bothered to ever fucking take it. The only other thing I have is fucking psoriatic arthritis. So if he's talking about like Humira injections that I also don't get because I have VA healthcare and they can't ever fucking get me medication, then what are we talking about? I get fucking Botox for my migraines for my TBI. That's why my face is like, you know, that's why I can't. I don't love it. I think I look like a clown half the time. But like heavily medicated? Bitch, on what? On fucking what? Like, oh my God. I was so... I need to like take a break here because my camera is actually dying, but this is probably good because I need to like... This is like a part for me that if I hadn't cried for like 10 hours yesterday, I would be bawling at right now because it's so offensive to take the personal shit that I went through and like the very real physical like world ending for like me personally, right? Like literally thought I was gonna die type shit and the PTSD and the fucking like TBI physical aspects and the, you know, like the like neurology appointments and the brain scans and the fucking like TBI treatment and like Botox and all the shit I've had to do and like continue and like will always probably have to do. And to fucking minimize that to be used as an excuse to get yourself out of it, to try to guilt this other person who you're also fucking over, to tell them like, you have to delete these messages because she's heavily medicated and she's going to fucking kill herself. Like, I will never, ever be able to forgive this man for that. I mean, I forgive him in general as a person, but I mean, for this, like, for this one thing, I think that's like, that alone. It's like, I can separate what this, like, the feelings I get from this statement out of everything. I know that it's not going to sound, I know that a lot of people are like, that's what it is for you. But honestly, yes. Because you knew all about, like, you knew how much this affected my life, every fucking aspect of my life for so many years. And, like, you used it to be the like, guilt point in someone else's, like, to make someone else, like, try to, oh my God, you get what I'm saying. It's too much. It's like, that to me is like so fucking dirty. Beyond dirty. That's insane. Insane. Sociopath, dude. Like, genuinely. And he's like crying telling her this. This isn't him just doing, like, he's like emotional, like acting like he's emotionally distraught over this to the point where he's like crying and being like, please, she's gonna kill herself. Like, you know, she's so heavily medicated. She's so... Oh my God. I need to take a quick break. I am like seething again. I'm getting so angry. This is... Let me check my heart rate. What are we at? I'm so mad. I'm sitting here with my heart rate's at like 95 right now. Like, my resting's at like 60. You take a couple deep breaths and I'll get back to you. Look at this angel. Oh, she's a baby. Okay. I need to put myself mentally back where I don't want to be. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was. I mean, I know I was mad. For him saying all that shit, using it against me. But, like, story-wise, I'm trying to think of... Oh, Messenger. Okay. So, she tells me all of this stuff about, like, oh, I was really, like, nervous and concerned because I thought you were just, like, mad at me, essentially, like, not, you know, answering or responding. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, oh, well, I sent you these messages on Messenger, and I just assumed you deleted them or, like, saw them and didn't respond, whatever. So I go into my Messenger. I'm never on Facebook because, like, who is? You know, I'm not my mom. Like, I think I literally have it just for my mom, like, for parents and stuff, like, when I was deployed, because that's, like, the social media they have. So, and now I just have it, and I'm just never on it.
and I never think about it. And I never check my messenger. Never check. Like, I'm never on that, like ever. Yeah, so I'm thinking back and I'm like, this motherfucker for the past like 2 to 3 weeks is when he came to my house and he was like, oh man, this satellite crashed or whatever. Cause like he always is, I mean, I don't even know. Maybe he's not. He talks about being interested in certain things, but like space to him is like one of the things that like, you know, we can kind of like, it's like a middle ground. Like we both are interested and we both talk about certain things, right? So he's talking about this satellite crash and how like, you know, I don't even remember. I don't even know if it's a true fucking story, honestly, now, because I didn't look into it. I was just like, yeah, you can look up, you know, whatever. My heater would turn on right when I start recording again. So yeah, he's telling me that he's, you know, in my room or in the bathroom or scrolling. I don't even know where he is. I can't express how much I don't care about, like, that sounds bad. I just mean of like, I trust people, right? So I'm not like, if you have my phone and you go sit down with it, I'm not thinking like, oh, and I also don't have anything to like hide, so it doesn't really matter. But, you know, I'm not the person who's like, I wonder what he's doing. What is he looking at? Is he going to go through my stuff? Because it wouldn't matter either way. But I wasn't even, that like didn't even cross my mind. So I'm thinking he's on ground, looking at the news, looking for the satellite, and he's in my messenger app, deleting these messages that this girl had sent, right? This is like a week and a half prior to Sunday night, to me finding out any of this. And so she's telling me this, and I'm like, God, this is so hard to keep in order, because I have my version of like this timeline of how I found out. I have her version of her timeline of what she said, and then I have his version of like what he told me, and then also when he found out that I found out. So I'm really trying hard to like separate them all. But the best way I can describe it is, she tells me this happened. I was like, I didn't do that. I assume he deleted it. He later confirms he did. But in the meantime, while I'm on the phone with her, I go to my messenger app and I'm like, I don't even have like, I don't have anything. It's not on my deleted. It's like not on my message. Like, cause I was thinking like maybe it went to my, at first I'm not thinking he deleted it. I'm thinking it went to my message requests, because I'm never on Messenger. So in my head, I'm like, oh, it probably went to my request and I never saw it until you texted me. But yeah, no, he deleted it. And the only reason I know that, I mean, he does later confirm, right? But at the time, the only reason I know that is because I was like, I don't have any message requests, and I can't even, like, she had said that she tried to like send me one at the time, because she was like, this is my profile, and nothing came through. And on her end, she's like, she was like, yeah, he deleted it and did something, because I can no longer even send you messages. So then I go into my Facebook settings for my messenger, and he had not only deleted these messages from my chat requests, but he had changed my fucking settings to have it so that nobody who I like didn't know could even message me at all. So at this point, I'm pissed. And I'm like, this has been going on. I mean, it's been going on for months, but like him trying to hide her telling me for weeks. So I find out about the messenger stuff, and I'm like livid, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And we've been talking for a few hours at this point, and I'm like, you know, changing all my stuff back, looking at my stuff. I'm thinking at this point, like, what else hasn't he, like, what the hell? Like, how many people has, you know, like, has this happened in the past? How many people have tried to reach out for me? Like, what is he doing? And she's like, yeah, it was kind of scary for me, because he started like really getting intense and trying to like blackmailing me and being like, you know, he like drove to me immediately. He just gave me like this handful of cash and was like, leave me alone. She's like, I took it, of course, but at the same time, I was kind of like getting scared, because he started going off about like the car and be like, I'll buy you whatever you want. I'll pay for you. I'll pay for, like, you can get whatever type of car you want. I'll pay for your monthly payments. I'll pay for a lease. I'll do, like, I'll put something, I'll send you money every month. I'll put stuff in your account, like, whatever it is. Like, basically just, like, trying to bribe her to not, he was like, as long as you don't ever tell her about us, this is the worst mistake of my life. I will do anything for you not to tell her all this shit, but kind of, like, being very, like, forceful about it, and, like, giving her money and telling her to, like, and, like, blocking her and everything, and being like, I'm never gonna, like, contact you again, like, all this stuff. So, for her, she's like, you know, obviously, clearly, fuck you, but at the same time, she's like, all right, whatever, like, dude, chill. I don't want your, like, you know, wife-to-be to, like, hurt herself. Of course not. Like, I will leave you alone, but, like, this is fucked up. And still like, you know, still having anger towards the situation for what he did to her, right? So she doesn't understand, and she's like, this isn't really like closure for telling me why you went out of your way to start this like essentially relationship with me for no reason, and now you're just blocking me on everything. So a little over a week goes by where she's been like not contacting, not doing anything, you know, doing what he said, and she's just like thinking about it every day and feeling like such shit and feeling like, you know, like more, the more and more she thinks about it, she's like, I know he's not telling the truth, because like what would be the benefit of you know, like doing all this stuff and telling me, you know, like none of it makes sense on her side either. And so she's like, she doesn't know, there's no way he told her. And like he says they're going through marriage counseling and stuff, so she believes him, she believes that we're doing that, but she's thinking that like I didn't tell, like she's thinking I had a fraction of like that he was like paying for news or something, right? Like that side of it that I didn't know. She didn't think I didn't know at all about this. She still thought that he was still like some piece, like that he just wasn't telling the whole thing. So for her, she was kind of like trying to justify it that way of like, well, you know, she might not know all the details, but she still knows about me. They're like actively working on this, so it's not, you know, like I'll just remove myself from the situation. So a week goes by. She's thinking these things the whole time. I decide, I'm like, I've been working on editing my vlog for like a while, and I've just been nervous about it because I was like, I have so much content. I had so much content that I had like pre-filmed, a lot of different trips that we had taken, different park ones. I still have some that I am gonna really, like I still have like a Greece trip and stuff that I took my friends that I'm gonna release, things like that. I'm still like not gonna like I'm working on my running video, but like I'm talking about stuff that like we did together and trips we took together, and then like trips we had planned. We had like the Tahoe one, we had a cruise set up, like, so I'm thinking of like when to post this, and I'm postponing it until I think it would be a good week so that I can do weekly vlogs and have enough to like have like regular posting every single week on the same, like, you know, on like the weekend is when I'm going to do it. So like, you know, enough to be able to post every week up until like these trips come around, and then I'll be able to do those, you know what I mean? Like building on it so that I just wanted to have like a little bit extra. So because of that, I had waited until last Friday to post my vlog. And before, because I know my channel doesn't have anything now, but like the reason I was posting this, it was like a where I've been vlog, because like in 2020 I had started making videos just kind of like on the side, but I was still in the military. And so I made a vlog, and I'm so pissed off because it was like really well edited. It took me a long time to put together. It took me fucking hours to make this vlog because the entire intro of like the first 3 minutes is just like edited segments of like snap videos or normal videos or whatever that have been like edited on like a 3-part screen of just all the trips we've taken over the past years. It's just crazy to think of now because it's like the timing of all of these, it's like I don't believe in the same, like I'm spiritual, but I don't believe in the God in the sense of like a Christian God, right? But I do believe there is something, I just don't really know what it is. And things like this are like why I can't ever be a true atheist, because I'm like, there is no reason I should have gotten this text message. There's no reason that any of these things should have lined up in the way they did. And because he was deleting it from all, I didn't even talk about this. He was deleting it from all my messages and everything, right? So it was like my iCloud. I ended up calling my sister like a day before this happened. And I was like, hey, do you want this other computer that I have? Because I'm gonna, this is so everywhere. My brain is obnoxious. I'm so sorry for the way this is like fucking everywhere, but I don't know how to tell stories in a linear pattern, I guess. Okay. Anyways, so I'm calling my sister. I'm like, hey, do you want this computer? And she's like, oh my God, that's so weird, because we had just gone to Costco and I was going to buy one, like had this money and everything for it that, you know, she gets from her school. But she was like, something told me to just like hold off, even though her computer's hella old. And so I was like, well, good thing you did, because I have this computer, and if you're going to take it, let me like restart it. So I had just spent the night before restarting it and like resetting it and getting it up to date, getting software updated and shit, because I hadn't opened it in like almost a year at this point. And I put it on my table. And so like fast forward to the next day when he's here sitting on this couch with my watch, with my phone, scrolling through everything, deleting everything. It deleted off every single motherfucking thing except for that laptop. And there's no reason that it shouldn't have. I checked my desktop, I checked my iPad, I checked my other computer, did I say my laptop? I checked my other laptop. None of them. It's not on any of it. It's not in the deleted folders. It's not on anything. And she also had sent like a bunch of different messages. She had sent like a chain of messages, and those were all deleted. The only one that came through was me sitting at that desk, or at my I'm eating dinner. Me sitting at my table, eating my dinner, and I'm like about to take a bite, and I'm like, damn, I'm bored. He's got all my shit. Let me open up this computer, watch some YouTube. Open it up. I'm on YouTube. I'm in YouTube. And the message thing pops up over it. Like, it's like I've already opened it. There's no reason for this to be here at all. Like, it was like so much out of like something wanted me to see this. Crazy shit. So, yeah, I just think that's amazing now that I think back about it. There's no reason I should have gotten this message at all. At all. Not on any other device. And they're all connected to the same exact iCloud. I have the same account on all of them. It's not like I have a separate one. Crazy shit. And then all of the other ones are deleted except for this one. And all that one was a specific one that said, like, I guess he didn't tell you about us completely. Whatever. That started it. So. And it didn't even, like... it's not like he, like, didn't delete something fast enough. That came through an hour after it had come. Like, he had already been here an hour. So that should have come through. Even if it, like, loaded and something was messed up, it should have deleted. Because that was from, like, an hour prior. So he had already deleted it when he was in the bathroom ages ago. So it's not even like she just sent it and it came through and it was on my phone and all my other shit. It was only there and it was from an hour. It's just crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. I know that's probably, like, not as mind-blowing to everyone else, but to me, I was like, oh my God, thank you. Whatever, whoever did this, like, thank you. We go through everything. That wasn't English. We go through everything. We talk for 4 hours. She's telling me all the things, and by this time, I've put together, like, a full index, if you will. Like, I don't want to say case, it's not, but, like, I've matched up all the dates. I've looked at, like, all the times. There were times where, like, you know, he would, like, I would spend, oh man, the worst ones were, like, the days where it would be, like, we went to dinner with his friends one night, and after that, we went to this, like, haunted house. First off, pissed off, because I had awesome vlog footage from that. It was so cool. So for Christmas, they have one, and it's, like, they put a Christmas market in there. It's in the abandoned side of a mall, and it's, like, this Krampus-themed one. And then they have one for Valentine's Day. They have, like, Bloody Valentine's Day. They have, like, a spring one, like a midsummer around, like, Easter, St. Patrick, like, leprechauns. Like, so sick. So cool. And I had all this vlog footage from Krampus and stuff. But we were there for hours. So we went to dinner with his friends. In between, we came home. And I, like, had to let the dogs out or something. You know, I'm on the couch, you know, doing my thing with him. So it's not like... That also kind of drives me crazy, because it's not like it's not like I'm, like, you know, yeah, it makes it worse, because I'm like, what the fuck? We were out with your friends. We're back on the couch. I'm you for, like, 30 minutes. And then we go to this haunted house for, like, we were there for, like, 2 hours, because it was Christmas market. There was a bar in there. We went through the house itself. And then after, like, 2.5 hours, he's like, oh, my stomach really hurts. I just need to go, like, but I drove. So I had to drive him back, but it was at my house. So we, like, drove back to my house, and then he was like, oh, thank you. And then he drove from there to, like, past his house, another hour to hers, and then spent time with her. So it's, like, not even, I don't know, looking at the dates and looking at shit, I'm like, he wouldn't have even got to her until, like, probably around 10. And after I've been I just, like, I don't know how to, it's just so dirty. It's like,
Are you trying to compare? Are you going from like one, you know, BJ to the other and seeing which one's like, I don't fucking understand. Like shit like this is like, you're really living on the edge of your fucking life. You know, like you're really testing it. You're like pushing it. Like this isn't even separate days anymore. This isn't even separate days where I'm like being, you know, bitchy to you or fight. Not that we don't fight. We don't have any of that. So it's not even like I'm doing that. But you know, like this isn't a situation where I'm like holding out on him or whatever. And then he's going to like step out to find it somewhere else. Like none of that. It's like literally going from like one high to the next. I just like, it is. Do you understand how hurtful that is? And in my other vlog and stuff that I was editing towards the end where I'm crying about, these are the things I'm thinking about of like, when I talk about my insecurities and how I need to remember that it's not me and stuff. I know it's not, but it's so hard for me to get past it. Cause like, that's the shit I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about like, how can I possibly tell myself it's not me when like he's literally going out of his way to like leave me doing things because we had like other plans. It's not like we like stopped to do like he like left or anything that, right? But it's like, you know, it's not like I was within like a, I don't know, 3-4 hour window. You're just trying to like get as much as you can from everybody type thing, you know, like I know that's all TMI, but like at this point I'm just being honest because I don't know. I hate, like, first off, don't tell me, like a juicy-ass story and leave out the details, because what are we doing? Pointless. Secondly, I don't really have to be embarrassed for anything. And I think, like, if you're going to be 13 about it and be like, oh, my God, you did what? Like, come on. That's dumb, too. So I'm going to say everything. And I think details like that also are really, like, what hurt me the most. So I'm going to say it for those reasons as well. And I feel like I am like way more blunt about it, obviously, if I'm not in like a YouTube video for, what's it called? Like not getting it banned, but like not even demonetized. It's not like I'm monetized, but getting it, like struck or something, you know, like I'm just more nervous about like saying certain things, like being like overly graphic. Like it's not, yeah. Anyways, let me go through the rest of these tags and move the fuck on from that. But that one really,
Okay, quickly, preemptively, I'm gonna tell you right now, the next clip, what I initially did was, like, I was talking about red flags that I see now that I didn't see them then, that I did not see then, sorry. And I'm just taking it out. It was too long, entirely too long, just fucking, like, 30 minutes of me just, like, rambling about one of these things. And at the end of it, I really don't feel comfortable, I don't know, thinking about it more. It's fine for people who are strangers, but I'm thinking of this in the context of he has a life. He has people who know me. There's, you know, this video has blown up bigger than I thought it would. So there's people in his life who know about it too now. And there's certain things that I don't feel comfortable. On my end, it's fine. But just like disclosing about things that affected him, I just don't feel comfortable talking about, knowing that, you know, anyone could see it. So I'm going to leave one. It's just one of those, and I'm going to leave out. The rest of them, I'm still going to tell you. I talk about the underwear thing after this either way. And then there was one that I forgot that I actually wanted to put in here, because another thing was just like, so he had like roommates for a while, and if they paid in cash and stuff, he would just pay in cash for things around, you know, in his life. So because of that, he just had like random loose money around the house all the time. Like 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, just laying around everywhere. So occasionally I would just walk around the house and pick them all up, go through every room, pick it all up, give them a stack and be like, hey, this is like $150. Like, what are you doing? Type stuff. Yeah, just shit like that. So it was one of these times. It wasn't that long ago. It was probably like a year ago. Not like super old, but not, you know, like a year and a half-ish time frame, I think. Where I'm doing this and going through. And he has all this money on his nightstand by his bed. So I'm picking it up. I open it because it's like, it's not like it's just like a basic square nightstand with like a single folding open drawer. So I like am picking up all this money on the top of it. I open the drawer to like pick up all the rest because he throws like more money and shit. Like I, have seen him just throw shit in there. So there's like a ton of money in that side. So I'm picking it all up. I'm collecting all this. Walk over to the other side because there's another one on the other side of the bed. Getting the money on top of that one. Open up the other one. And there's a box of like Plan B in the back of the cabinet. And at first, obviously, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why would you ever need to have this? Hey, stop. But I also have never like gone through his shit. I've never gone through his cabinet. I've never, like, I don't snoop through anything. I've never gone through his phone. So it's not like I had suspicions of cheating or anything. And honestly, my first assumption was just like, this has to be old. So I just checked the expiration date. I checked like the dates in general, like the lot date and the expiration. And the expiration was like coming up pretty soon. And the lot, or like not issue date, but like when they originally make them, it was from like, I think like 2020. It was from before or like right around when we started dating. So it didn't bother me. And I never asked him about it because I was like, oh, there was like a box of condoms there too. And I know he doesn't really like use condoms, or like for us, we didn't use condoms. That's not what I meant. I mean that he doesn't really like to use condoms. Like when we first started dating and stuff, like I'm on an IUD. We didn't have problems with that. So, for those type of things, I like, that's why I was checking the dates and stuff. Cause I was like, why would you need these? But they were all like seemingly bought around like when we started dating, or, roughly around that time, and were expiring within like a year. So I didn't think about it. Looking back now, especially after she's telling me that he bought Plan B and he wanted to do, whatever, I think, it is what it is. Should I have asked him, I guess? Yeah. I don't know, though. I really don't. Like, I don't feel bad. I don't, like, look back on these things and think I'm stupid or anything. I just think, like, there's nothing wrong with trusting someone, right? And I'm not going through his stuff in, like, a malicious intent of trying to find stuff or think he's cheating or think he's whatever, right? I didn't suspect him of any of this. I didn't ever, like, if you had told me without any evidence, I just wouldn't believe you, no matter what. Like, I just wouldn't, to this day, like, even knowing who he is now, like, the person I knew was so much different than the man he's, like, shown himself to be, that, I just, yeah, I never had that mentality of thinking, like, oh, he's cheating on me, or whatever, so I didn't ask, honestly, and that was one of the ones that I can look back on and be like, oh, yeah, that's, but that's kind of what I meant with, I think I talk about this too later, so I don't need to reiterate, but I just want to say that as, like, a preface for this next one, because I talk about another one that was, like, a red flag for me, and not at the time, but I can look back on and see that now, right? So that was it. And then also, this is not important, but I had, like, a knot in my hair while I was telling this originally, and so I was trying to, like, pull my hair tie out, and then it got stuck in my hair. So you're gonna see, like, a really short clip of me pulling this out of my hair, and then it will move on. But that's just, like, my editing OCD brain needs there to be continuation of, like, what happened? Her hair was up, now her hair is down, so I'm gonna let you know that's why. And thank you for your time. The chaos of my life. All right. Oh my god, what the hell? He also in the past, like, with, like, I'm talking, like, the first year we're dating, he's asking for, I don't know, his closet is a mess, and so he asked me to help him get rid of clothes or something, and he had asked me a bunch of times, and he didn't actually even end up getting rid of a lot of his clothes until like year, like, 3 or something, right? So his closet's a mess. He's asking for me to help him get rid of clothes, and I'm going through shit, and there's this pair of, like, leggings. I feel like there was a pair of leggings, maybe like a shirt or something, but there's a pair of, like, pink lacy underwear, like a thong, like a Victoria's Secret extra small thong. And I was like, whose is this? And he was like, oh, those are my ex-girlfriends. I know who his ex-girlfriend is.
not his ex-girlfriend. She's not extra small. I don't mean that in like a mean way. I'm just saying like in general, like who the fuck is an extra small, right? And so I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know who she was. So I was like, okay, just believed him. Because again, to me, within the first year of a closet that has like, I'm talking under piles of shit. And it's not like, I didn't think he was like trying to like hide a thong in between it. I literally just thought it was like, they used to live together. I thought it was his ex's because he said it was. I didn't know her. I didn't know her body type. I didn't know anything about that. And I knew they used to live together. And there was like some other shit around the house that was like things that she had left or things that they had had. So it wasn't weird to me at the time, especially within that like short, you know, within the first year to find this thing and then be like, oh, you know, not a big deal. And then he just like threw him away. Or he was like, yeah, I like messaged her because she has some other shit here too for her to like come get her stuff if she wanted it. He was like basically just like throw it in this pile. It just wasn't, I don't know, looking at it now, do I think he's telling the truth? He still swears he was. I say no. I say he did it a bunch because this girl who I was talking to for 4 hours was like texting me the next day, and she was like, I forgot another thing too. She was like, did you ever find my pair of leggings and my pink underwear? And I was like racking my brain because I was like, there's no way that was this recent. I was like, there's no way that pink thong. I was like, was it a pink thong? She's like, yeah. And I was like, in black leggings, and she's like, yes. I'm like, I was like, it was such a weird moment for me because I'm like, again, he's been doing this for a while. I was like, there was like, how many people has he been doing this for, right? So in my head, I'm thinking about this, and I was like, there's no way that was within like the last 3 months. I know this was years ago. And so now I'm like, great, there's another one. There's another person. And I even asked, I was like, was it like an extra small? She's like, no. She's like, I mean, I'm 5'2" and like pretty tiny, but I'm still like a medium, you know, on a good day. And so yeah, so there's someone else now, and there's, you know, it just like keeps like every fucking thing. He's just like such a fucking liar, just constantly lying, trying to get his way out of things, telling me it's someone else's, telling me it's whatever. And then like every time I bring shit like this up, he'll revert and be like, oh, well, honestly, like, yeah, maybe that happened this time, but that's not the same. That time I swear it was this, or that time I swear it was this. These are all things he's telling me now, by the way. Like, if he had told me things like that, like responses like that at the time, I would have immediately thought he was cheating, because like projecting onto the person bringing up stuff is like a very clear red flag. My point of all this is to say these things were red flags, yes, but they were red flags over, like, that's what I meant by saying, like, this is like minor things. Those are like, what, 2 things? I can't even think of, like, I'm sure there's more. Like, the more I look back. Oh, the third thing is just that, like, he never posted photos of me on, like, Facebook or whatever, or Snapchat, right? Or Instagram. But he never posted it all on those. So to me, it was like, that would have been an issue if he was actively making any posts, but he never posted anything. All his photos were from, like, when he was, like, I don't know, hella young. Like, I'm talking like early 20s. You know, he didn't update his shit. Like, he would be like on Snapchat or on, you know, whatever, like he would, you know, text me or message me or stuff, or like send me stuff on Instagram, but he wasn't like actively ever posting stuff on his own. And I didn't feel like it was the same thing, because like in those situations, the main thing is, like, you know, you feel like you're being hidden, or you feel like you're being embarrassed. I knew everyone. I knew all his friends. I knew all his family. So it's not like I had that other component of it where you feel like, why are you posting me on shit? You're hiding me from people. You're embarrassed from me. You know, whatever that part is. So for me, that was never an issue. But like looking back, of course, if I just like straight out told you, like, oh yeah, over 4 years, he never posted anything with us in it, you know, but like he didn't post anything at all. And it's not like if I would tag him and shit and he wouldn't like hide it. He would like put it on his feed, or like he wouldn't like remove himself or stuff. Right. So it's like, I don't know. There's like, that's what I mean when I say every single thing that would have been a red flag had a perfectly reasonable explanation. And also it was like maybe 1 a year. So it's like, when I look back for a 4-year period and I'm thinking of these things, they're not like, there's so much time in between each one, and each one of them is like, I'm not ever going to be a person who's going to immediately go to the worst case scenario. If there's like 1 or 2 perfectly good, reasonable explanations, then that's it. That's where I stop. Like, for me personally, which I think is healthy in its own sense, right? But also, like, you know, when people like to say like, well, you know, maybe you should have known, or you should have whatever. My defense to that is like, why should I have to? And what relationship are you in that you should have to, right? Like, those are like, you shouldn't go out of your way to try to like find things to not trust about your partner. Like, that sucks. You shouldn't be in a relationship like that, right? And so like, oh God, yeah. So anyways, the next day is here. We have moved on. We are now at, Sunday was when this all happened. I talked to her for like 4 hours. I talked to her into like Monday, essentially. It was like, I don't know, like 2:30 or 3 when I got off the phone with her. Monday, I'm thinking about it all day. I go to my friend's. I put Loki in boarding, and he just doesn't like get along with other dogs. I go to her house. I'm talking about it. I'm going through like every single thing. We're kind of like looking back at shit. We're going through all the photos. We're, you know, like talking. I'm like talking through my feelings, crying, whatever, trying to get my shit together for the day. And I was like, okay. He texts me and he's like, hey. And again, at this point, he doesn't know I know anything. He thinks, like, I haven't said anything to him. He thinks that I just think his stupid ass bullshit story about like just the swiping and just the kissing and just the blowjob and just, that's all I know. So at this point, I'm like, what do I do? Do I even go to this counseling meeting? Because I was like, it's gonna, you know, my friend was like, you can do whatever you want, but why are you even going, type thing of like, is this for, you know, what good is it going to bring you? And, you know, unless you're doing it, like, is this like a revenge thing? Like, what are, like, is this a long con? Like, what are we doing? You know, it's just like, you can do whatever you want, but like, I'm concerned more for like your mental health, and like, what if this turns into more like emotional manipulation type shit? And so for me, I'm like, for 24 hours, he has been begging me. He has been texting me like the longest messages of like, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. You are my everything. You're my world. I can't imagine life without you. I can't whatever. He was like begging me constantly to get back, to like give him a chance to go to therapy, to do whatever. And the whole time he's promising like, I will never give you anything to like doubt. I will be so honest. I will be so open. I will be so whatever. So the reason I wanted to go was because I knew he wasn't going to be. I knew it. I knew he was going to be closed off. Not, I knew he was going to be not honest. But like, not just that, but like, just like not communicating, right? I knew it would be like, I just knew it would be an ordeal. I was like, well, I'm going to go because if anything, this will prove to me once and for all that he is, because at this time too, I'm still like so confused because it's been less than 24 hours. I'm a little bit in shock. I don't know how to process it. I still am like having a hard time crying because it like, I actually can't. I was like, this is like a full double life, like a full on double life for almost 3 months that he's been doing this. And like, that's just what I know about now. And he wouldn't have told me. He probably wouldn't have ever like even stopped, right? Unless she found out. Oh my God. I also, yeah, for the whole time she's messaging me. So like, he came to my house because, I'm so sorry that I keep going back and forth, but the whole reason he was even here to delete these messages is because, oh my God, this was from so long ago too, and I never finished this thought. Oh my God, my brain is so frustrating. I need to take Ritalin. Okay. And by that, I mean, I need to take my Ritalin. I just never do. Okay. So where I was going a long ass time ago when I was talking about the all the stuff coming through with the computer that I never should have seen and stuff. The point of that all was to say the timing for that was crazy, but the vlog portion of that, of me like posting this vlog and all that, the end of that thought was meant to say, it took me so long, but I ended up posting it at like that exact time. On like, I waited until like Friday at like, you know, whenever to post it, because I had been waiting for all my content and shit. And that was just so happened to be like 1 week after, where she'd been thinking about this for a week. She ended up finding my Instagram profile, and like she I guess she had looked at it before, but she realized that I had I had posted my YouTube handle in it, and she clicked on it, and I had like just posted that vlog within like, I don't know, a couple of minutes before. She was like, I went to your handle because I was just thinking about it. I couldn't get it off my mind. I didn't believe in, but I also didn't want to like ruin your life. And you just don't post a lot of like, I post a lot of like nature stuff and stuff, right? But I don't post a lot of like us together. So she was like, so I truly didn't know if he was like telling the truth or not. So she was like, but then I go to look at your like page one more time, and you had just posted this YouTube video. And within the first like 3 minutes of this YouTube video was just like our whole montage of our life, right? And so she takes a screenshot of that thumbnail of my YouTube video. Let me pull up these ones too. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that I have like anxiety burps. But it's okay. We're doing okay. God, I wish I would stop looking at the dick pics. I don't mean to scroll back every time that far. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this one because this is just a picture of me in this, but I'm gonna click this so you can't see the phone number. Okay, so it's just this where it's like the screenshot of my thumbnail. And she sends him that and says it's almost like she doesn't know with how many nice clips she included of you. Interesting, because again, he had been telling her that he knew. And this is from a number, like she had to get an app to like text his number because he blocked her on everything. Basically, he just gave her a bunch of money and like blocked her and was like, never talk to me again. And she was like, sends him a lot of pictures of, sends him all these pictures of like them together. And she's like, all of these are nice, but I can send the rest too, since you want to lie to me and then decide I don't deserve any clarity or answers. And then she sends him like, the pictures of them together, the photo booth picture, all this shit. So he sees this, never responds to her, leaves her on red, calls me, and he was like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. He had just left within like a half an hour. He had just left. And I was like, I'm meal prepping. He's like, do you want to go to Home Depot with me? And I was like, no, not really. I'm meal prepping. Thank you though. Like, what's up? Like, you just were here. And he's like, yeah, but I forgot. I need to run by here or whatever. Can I like come by? Can I stop by? And I was like, okay, sure. But I loved him. So I was like, yeah, come on by. That's fine. Like, you were just here, weirdo, but whatever. So I'm thinking like he's going to go Home Depot and then come over after, but he just drives here like immediately. He's here within like 10 minutes of calling me. And I was like, the fuck? I was like, I thought you were going to, he's like, oh, I gotta poop. I gotta whatever. So that's why he takes my phone and stuff, because she's actively texting him this like right before saying she's going to text me this. And he's going in and like deleting everything she's sending me. She ends up like, I asked her too of like how she got my number, but she just ended up paying for it like online, which like I would do too. So yeah, so that was like the full side of that. So now we fast forward. This is a day in between. It's Tuesday. It's the day for the counseling. Really cool dude. Very nice. Very like, I really appreciated that he like equally made me feel like vindicated in being very much like justifying my feelings, but at the same time he didn't ever put him down, which I really liked, because I don't know how I feel about it. At the end of the day, I don't hate him. I don't feel like this is I don't know. I don't feel like this is something I can't get past. I don't feel like he's fucking up my life. If anything, I'm actually pretty grateful that I am who I am, and that he did this to me and not someone who like couldn't handle it, and that it helped me really understand how much work I've done on myself in the past few years to become this like stable, secure person that I am at this moment. But again, that's not saying that sometimes like right now, I think I'm just tired and numb because I cried so fucking much yesterday. So today I'm like, okay, and I can tell the rest of the story without, getting really deep in my emotions. But who knows? In a couple days, maybe I will again. we don't know. I'm supposed to start my period in like this week, so I'm sure it's not going to be a fun rest of the week for me, you know, but anyways, so we go to this therapy session, and it was like a fucking hour of him just like telling me little, like not telling me, but not telling me, right? So he'd be like, I don't want to say anything, and I'm like, I don't really care, like, what the fuck are we here for if you don't want to talk? And he's like, well, we're just going like around and around, and he'd be like, offer like the littlest snippet, you know, of like, well, I was talking to her, and then like, well, I did delete those messages. Well, she actually like did reach out before. She reached out through Messenger. You know, like technically he's telling me the truth and telling me things that I didn't previously know. Because I did know. But it was like pulling teeth. It was like, it took so long, and it was just me being like, that doesn't make sense. Like, can you expand on that? Like, why would that doesn't make sense. Like, what do you mean? So it was like every single thing. And like, I only did this because I was just sitting there waiting, because he had gone on and on about how open and honest and blah, 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 blah. So after like an hour of this, I was just like, dude, enough. And I just like laid out. I was like, actually, oh, I know what it was. It was me asking like when it started. And he was like, I really don't know. It wasn't even that long. He was like, I think it was the end of October. I was like, October when? Like October, when we were on our trip to Tahoe, when we were like laying in a hotel bed together, when we were like on, you know, one of our park trips, when we were at my friends, like what, like when? And he's like, I don't know, I can't remember. And I was just like over it. And I was like, well, I can tell you everything. I was like, I can tell you exactly when it was. It was on our 4-year anniversary. And I know that because you were sending your pictures, or like, because you wouldn't send her pictures of your vampire costume because you were too embarrassed, because that's when you started talking. I know that this was the second time you matched with her. I know that this, you know, and I'm just like laying out all these other things, and I go through their entire like timeline. And then he's just shook. He's like staring at me like, and in that moment too, he before that was like crying and very like timid. And then he just kind of like, like, this is what I mean by sociopath, because I think he was really like trying to cry, trying to act like, I think he doesn't know how to feel. And so at that time, he kind of just like could drop it all. And he just kind of like, he was just staring at me like, anyways, after that, then he was like really mad. And he was like, I'm so, I can't like talk right now. I'm just so mad that she told you everything. I'm so like, I can't believe you already know, like, what's the point of talking about this? I don't want to talk about this anymore. There's nothing else to say. Like, you already know everything, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the point of this is like, you've like been lying to me still, that you said that you wanted this, that you wanted this therapy, that you wanted all this shit, so we could work through this, so that you would never, like, so you would tell me, I'm in your area, I'm in your safe space, we've got this third person, like, and you're still not telling me. So I'm like, I believe that you think these things are true, but my point in all this is that it's not, because you just sat here for an hour and you still didn't tell me shit. And now that you know I know, you still don't want to tell me shit. And just because, like, you're saying this now doesn't mean that in, like, you know, a couple months you won't get this urge again, this, like, fantasy, whatever it is that you're trying to, like, say is a reason why you had to do this. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't believe you, I don't trust you. And for me, I'm like, you are not, like, I don't know you, I don't know who you are, I don't know this man, like, this person who did all these things to me is not the person I fell in love with. And, like, I was like, I guess, like, that person didn't exist, but at least to me, I can separate the two of you, because, like, I don't know who you are. You are, like, it's like a fucking alien. It's the weirdest thing. I've never experienced anything like this. Sorry, I'm just getting, like, I'm just so tired of talking about this, honestly. I'm just tired. I'm mentally exhausted. I am drained. It's, like, such a long story, and it takes so much, like, energy, like, mental energy, to try to, like, backtrack and go between 3 different versions of, like, timelines of what I knew, what he knew, what she knew, when I found out. Like, I'm so tired. So I'm sorry if I've kind of, like, lost the plot for since I got back on here, but because I just need to go to bed. I think I just really need to sleep. But I'm trying to wrap this all up because this is like towards the end, right? Honestly, I think that's like pretty much it. And at this point, like now where we're at is just like, I want him to get help. I still care about him. I still like, I loved him a lot, right? He's done so much for me. So I'm not bitter. I'm not hateful towards him. I don't have any shit like that. I'm sad for him. I'm sad that he did this to himself. I'm sad that he did this to me, of course. But, you know, you have to be in a place of just like such pure loathing to even like not see yourself as worthy when someone is giving you all of their love. Like, that's so sad. And I feel, I don't know, I'm just like, I've been there, and I just feel really bad for him. I'm a fucking pussy bitch right now. I get it. Like, I'm not going back to him. It's not any of that. I just like really truly want him to get help, and oh god, this would be the time I cry. So annoying. Yeah, so I don't know where to end this, but that's like pretty much it. Right now, we're just in the throes of what does Rachel do with her life now? And I am trying my hardest to keep moving, keep doing things, like taking some form of like action every day, so that on the days where I am not able to function during the times where like my ups and downs, like right now I'm in a down, right? Like I was fine all throughout this, but then after I took that break and did all this other stuff, now I'm just tired, and it's much harder to talk about this when I'm tired because it's like emotionally draining, but like physically draining as well. And my brain just stops, like kind of comes to a halt, and I'm like, I'm over it. I'm over talking about it. I'm over doing it, but I wanted to finish this. And the last part of it all is just kind of like where we're headed now. I'm going to cut myself off here. I also wanted to show you this dog, because look at him. Yeah, you silly. Basically, I say where I'm going from here. Well, I try to, and then I talk for like actually an hour, so it's too long. There's no need. The main things you need to know are I'm already in the process of selling my home. I have a closing date currently pending right now, but it should be around Valentine's Day. I'm in talks with 2 different dealerships to try to get the best price that I can for a Winnebago Travato 59K series, and I should pick that up in like within a month. Kind of depends on my house and stuff for exactly when I'm going to close, but those are the 2 main things. I'm also going to talk about my dog a little bit later, and that's part of why this took like an hour to explain, because I just went into a lot of detail. But this little guy right here, his name is Loki. He's an angel, but he's also a devil. And he goes in and out of being very, I don't know, aggressive and sweet. And it depends on just like who the dog is and what his mood is and all of that. So because of that, I'm going to have to rehome him at the maximum level, at the minimum level, keep him in long-term boarding for at least a few months, because I won't have a home or anything, and I don't want to, well, I could take him with me, but I don't want him to like lose quality of life because of something that is not his fault, like me selling this house, me doing whatever to get out of this. Is pretty much like I stay here in this town 10 minutes away from this man who just tries, you know, constantly to get back with me every day. I can't deal with it. Or I, you know, have to like put him in temporary boarding for a while I figure out where I'm going to go next, what I'm going to do, because all my friends that I'm going to stay with over the next few months, they all have animals, and I can't take him. Like, he would have to be fully muzzled if I was just going to take him on a walk or take him out. Like, he doesn't have the temperament to be able to just, like with Binks, I can just get out of my car at, like, a gas station and go to a dog park if she has to pee, right? For him, if we're on a road trip, I don't have that. I don't have that option. Like, if there's another dog, he can't go outside. He is too aggressive. And he also has, I
I never know when it's gonna kind of go on and off, so he usually has a shock collar on. I mean, he's sleeping right now, so it's just his normal collar, but so like if I'm driving down the road and he decides he wants to like attack my other dog, that's like unsafe for everybody. I also don't want to make her life more on edge in a small van all the time, not having enough space from him if he is in a mood, all these things, right? So that's that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll play the next clip. Either way, I'm sorry this video is so long. Sorry the last one was long too. They're gonna be a lot shorter from here on out. I mean, not super short, they can still be long. There's nothing wrong with long content, but yeah, just thank you so much for all the support that you guys have shown me. Look at these teeth. Oh, I'm sorry. It means everything to me to have so many people reaching out. I also feel so bad that this happened to so many people, and I really hope that everyone has, you know, been able to find themselves in a better place on the other side. So thank you guys so much. We're sad again. This silly boy is just being silly, and I don't know. Oh my god. He literally is just like, he just brings me so much joy. Because he's like so fucking silly all the time. And right now he's just running around. Because I was taking like the remote holder thing off this bookshelf that I have to sell. And he just like picked it up, and now he's just running around with it because that's who he is. When he was a baby, he used to put like buckets and shit on his head and run around. He's like, yeah, so thought I would talk through it. I know I cut myself off earlier because I just didn't want to talk about it. It's like the one thing that truly, every time I try to like emotionally deal with, I really don't know how. I don't know how I'm gonna get rid of him. Not get rid of, but like rehome him, because I'm gonna have to. But look at him. He's just looking for food. Doesn't give a fuck about me. Like, I mean, he does, but yeah, he keeps just running around and being cute. And I was gonna talk through it because I realized halfway through him doing this, I was like crying. It's gonna be okay. He's gonna have a really good home with people who love him just as much as me. But now I'm just like sick again because I can't stop thinking about this, and like the fact that I have to give away my dog who was here first, who doesn't deserve any of this, who like came before this man. So I wanted to talk about it. This one is not as easy to like talk through though, because it's not like, hi Muffin, you're so handsome, I love you. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hi Bubba. Hi. Hi Butt. Hi Butt. Hi. You so happy boy? You a happy boy? You silly? You silly happy boy? Are you my everything? I gotta get rid of you. Oh, I'm just so sorry. Oh god. He's just so happy all the time. He just like runs around and does this all day long. He's such a good dog. Is he a little crazy? Yeah, but like, you know, who isn't? Anyway, God, I really do say that a lot. I just wanted to put him on some of the video because I'm gonna miss him a lot. But it's not fair. I don't need to like cry. You don't need to see that. I said that I would vlog when I'm feeling sad. And I'm feeling really fucking sad. But
I have to make this choice at all. So
I'm just watching like YouTube channel. Watching YouTube channel. I'm watching YouTube videos of just watching a vlog right now. And what an angle. I'm just trying not to actively cry. I'm saying this because I'm committing to every single time I want to cry, or that I am crying, or that I have just cried, I will pick up my camera and I will talk about it. Because I realized that I was just sitting here staring into the fucking void, like not even paying attention and just thinking of like travel vlogs and all the things we talked about and all the things, like I'm just thinking of like doing it, not the doing it alone part. I don't give a fuck. I love being alone, but like not doing it with him and not doing all the like with him specifically, you know. I know that a lot of people, the worst part about breaking up is being alone and being whatever and like the starting over and stuff. When I say starting over, I'm talking about starting over without him specifically, not starting over in general. I just I don't know. I really loved him. Sucks. It just sucks. And I'm gonna tell you every time it sucks. And it's gonna be a lot. It's so shitty. There's so many things that we wanted to do, and you know, I don't even know at this point if he wanted to have the things or if he just did it to make me happy. Who knows? Like, he says he really loved him and that it brought out a lot of joy of like things that he hadn't thought about since he was like a kid, like all the parks and stuff that I go to, like national parks and state parks and stuff. But those are just like some of my best memories like in my life. I don't mean like with him, I mean like in general. The like road trips that we took to go to all the national parks and the time we spent exploring just like where we are in Florida and all the state parks and stuff that we've been to, and like the little towns and it just sucks. I'm just sad. There's no reason. I mean, I'm just watching a vlog and this girl's just like eating a burger in Bali, and that was it. That was what did it for me. I guess that's what made me cry. Think about, because then I'm just thinking about all the places, even the trips we had for this year and places we want to go, and it's fine. It's okay. I'll be okay. Good night. Maybe. Hopefully this is the last time I cry tonight. I filmed like 2 or 3 other things before this and we cried too, so this is so close. This is so close to my face. Oh my god. I'm just realizing that. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I did not notice that I wasn't holding it at an appropriate distance. Jesus Christ. I was like right here this whole time. Woo! I'm zoned out. I'm telling you, my brain is like, we're not doing well. We need calories. I'm so tired. I need to go to bed. Oh my god. All right. Okay.